Welcome, guys, to the SBN Network Podcast. I'm your host, Steff, and with me is...
I'm Scott.
Yes.
And I'm Scott. We know how to do intros now.
This is a podcast where we take some deep dives into some wonderful artists and kind of look at their account in a different way, which is always a little bit positive, a little awesome, and you guys can enjoy their accounts with us.
And now that we've gotten more professional, I try not to say any dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I try to at least always end on a good note.
And we begin.
Yeah.
Jewel, welcome. I have been following you for a long while now. You are a fellow Clone Wars enthusiast and Star Wars nerd in general, as well as an predominantly outdoor toy doctor. So I'm very excited about this, just because this is going to be a super easy conversation. For those of you who do not know, Jewel is the legendary Miss Geeky Gem on Instagram. You've been doing this for a bit. How long have you been doing this for?
Like, how long have I been doing action figure photography?
Yeah.
I think since 2019, maybe.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because you've been doing it longer than me. I know you've been running around doing it. Yeah, you are awesome, and thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit. And welcome to our super professional SBN podcast.
You know how you're putting all the pressure on.
Yeah.
That professional thumbs up right there. Yeah, so seriously, welcome. Real quick, where does the name come from? I mean, I kind of know sort of where the name comes from, but where does the Instagram handle come from?
So it used to be when I first started, it used to be Pixie Cut Gem because I have my hair all short and everything. But then I didn't know if I was going to keep that forever, but I've had it for a long time now. But I had a lot of guys calling me bro and stuff in the comments, and I didn't know like if that's something I should be like, oh, I'm actually a girl or something, or if I should be like, you know, even people in the DMs would be like, I looked at your work, bro, awesome work, man, and like I'm like, oh, thank you, I really appreciate that, but I'm actually a girl. But yeah, so I don't know. I decided I wanted my Instagram handle to have a miss in it, so that, but it happens. It even still happens because I think people just look at the photo and they don't bother looking at what you're called or whatever. And then
of course,
Geeky because I am. And,
absolutely, you are.
And then Gem because I'm Jewel.
Yep. I love that. That I think is really such a cute play on word there. Like, I think that's so cool that you did that. You have such a great handle in general. I think it's and people know you as it now. You've got quite a bit of a following out there. So it's I go back and forth when I post for these challenges and whatnot, whether I'm going to say the handle plus style or their real name plus style. And I went back and forth a lot with you. I could, because you're pretty you're well known enough that I think people know you as both pretty interchangeably. So I didn't really feel the need to necessarily focus on the handle. But it is funny because your handle is pretty well known. So I thought about just saying like, yeah, I'm just going to use the handle and be done with it. But then I was like, nah, everybody knows her name. She'll be fine. So that's what I went with.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So.
But I've been doing toy photography for a little bit longer than that even. I took pictures of my American Girl dolls because when I was younger, I have 9 of them actually still, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of those.
That's a lot.
But then the thing is, with those dolls, they have like 5 points of articulation, and it's just, you're so limited. And I would tell stories and stuff with them on my little blog I had. And it's just I would go to Instagram sometimes like with a direct link or whatever, and I'd see these toy photographers, and I was just like, wow, that's so cool, and I want to get an Instagram one day, and yeah. So then I
did
got
it.
my first Black Series figure, which I think Rex might have been my first Black Series figure.
That's
And then,
fantastic.
good
That's a
one.
fantastic first. The
Yeah.
Is there, out of curiosity, I just don't know, and I thought maybe you might know. Is there an American Girl doll community out there, like photographer community out there, or is
oh
that
yeah,
kind of?
and it's on
Yeah.
Instagram too. There's the AGI
Huh.
community, and yeah, it's really cute and stuff. But I never did it actually on Instagram because I was
You
like,
just did it for you.
yeah, and my mom didn't want me having social media when I was
Mhm.
like that young and everything. So yeah, so I just did it on my little blog and little stories and stuff.
Very
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. My daughter is 11 and she has a few of those dolls already. She started getting into it
Oh,
last couple
cool.
years, and she's always asking me about taking photos of them and like putting them somewhere. So a blog's a good idea. Go with your mom for thinking. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And it was
Perfect.
really fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. But then I just wanted to tell kind of more serious stories too, because the
Mhm.
dolls are real cutesy and everything. And so,
It's kind of hard to have American Girl dolls out in the dirt blowing
Yeah.
up and doing all this little cool
Yeah.
space stuff.
The
Yeah.
fireworks and American Girl dolls don't really
Yeah.
necessarily mesh quite as
No.
easily as Star Wars figures and
yeah,
fireworks.
no,
So
not on a doll. I spent like $100 on. Like,
yeah, no.
I was always so nervous. Like they'd fall on the pavement and get like,
Mm-hmm.
like even if
The
it was
mark.
barely noticeable, or you can like kind of edit it out in editing or whatever, it was still like, ugh.
It still bothers them.
Yeah.
But Black Series figures are cheaper.
Yep.
You could just mess them up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
that's
cares?
perfect.
The
Very cool.
I gotta ask the Star Wars question because you are such a Clone Wars enthusiast.
Yes.
Was that your intro to Star Wars? Or
No.
did you watch other things first? Okay, because you seem to like really have a passion for it, and I love that because I love Clone Wars. It was not my first either, but I think Clone Wars is awesome, and it's only gotten more awesome as I've gotten older, which is
Yeah.
weird. Like I haven't like moved away from it at all. I just keep embracing it more and more. What was your first Star Wars encounter? Where did it begin?
I don't really even remember because I kind of grew up with it because my dad, he grew up with it. And so he kind of introduced me to it. And I think it was kind of like this fluctuating thing for me in the beginning because when I was younger, I was like, I think I enjoyed it like a decent amount. And then once I became a teenager, I was a little bit more like, because I think I remember my dad showing me A New Hope again, and it had been a while or whatever. I was like, that was kind of boring. I hate to say that.
No.
But yeah, I thought it was kind of boring at first, and then that's the time when the sequels came out. And I actually really loved the sequels. And I don't like it when people hate on the sequels because that was the introduction to Star Wars for a lot of people. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Amen. Yep.
so I really I liked it a lot, and I liked the sequels, and obviously they have their flaws, but yeah.
They all have their flaws, and this is the thing. Anybody listening, I love Star Wars. Everyone knows I love Star Wars, but they are a mess sometimes.
Mhm.
That's fine. Like, stop it. Leave them alone. Like, I don't know how to say it more than that. But yeah, no, I totally agree. When people talk down on the sequels, it drives me nuts because it introduced an entire like new generation into it. It brought a whole bunch of young girls into it that weren't interested in it before. It gave other people an opportunity to enjoy the universe, and if it hadn't been for them, and like these same people who like can hate on the sequels are like, oh, the Mandalorian's the best thing ever. Well, you might not have got the Mandalorian if the sequels hadn't come out, so like get over it. It's so true.
That's what got me excited again
Mm-hmm.
for Star Wars, and then it had been Clone Wars had been on Netflix, and me and my sister, like I had saw it, and because I was really getting into Star Wars again, I was like, oh, we should watch that sometime, but we kind of kept putting it off, and eventually one day, we were just kind of looking for something to watch, and like, okay, let's try this now. And we started it, and we really got hooked, and we would watch it together, and we just watched it all the way through, and I loved it.
Yep.
So
Good.
I was like,
It's
wow.
fantastic.
And I think we finished it kind of just in time, or maybe I don't know. We finished it a little before the announcement for the 7th season came.
Oh,
It was like
perfect timing.
I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
And
so you didn't even have to wait for that.
barely,
Man,
oh, yeah.
good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, barely anything. And I just heard how people like grew up with it, and there's all these memes about Clone Wars being your childhood. I'm like, well, it wasn't really my childhood because I kind of
Doesn't
watched
matter.
it as a 13, but I still really love it.
I watched it as an adult, so I'm
Yeah,
old,
my
and I loved it. So yeah, no, absolutely. The did you enjoy Bad Batch? I loved Bad Batch. I really loved Bad Batch. That's another one that some people were like complaining about parts of it, and I'm just like, just stop, leave it alone. It's fine.
People
It's fun.
always nitpick.
People always nitpick, and it's like, oh gosh, like get over it. It's
Yeah, I'm
fun.
still
Just start
not sure
having
if I like
fun.
The Mandalorian.
Well-
I'm not sure if I like The Mandalorian or Bad Batch better. So,
I said that to my friend the other day, and it like freaked him out. Like he like lost his. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, I don't. I'm kind of on the fence right now. And he was just like, that's crazy talk. That's absolutely crazy talk. I'm like, no, it's not. No,
Yeah.
Hunter's amazing. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
and Wrecker's amazing too. I love Wrecker. He makes me so fun. He makes me so happy. But what was it? Who?
Echo is my favorite.
Echo's Echo's amazing. I love Omega. I cannot wait to see what they do with Omega. I think she is so fascinating. I'm waiting for her figure to come out. I know she's been.
Oh yeah,
It's happening. We just don't know when. She'll be the first. She'll be the first Black Series kid that we've gotten. Yeah, like which is crazy.
Wow, that would be cool if they came out with that. Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's a super cool concept. And since I love clones so much, I was like, yes, a girl clone.
I know. It's like this is so up your alley. Yeah, no, it's like it's all about the clones. This is all about them. Like even Clone Wars, yeah, it's about the clones sometimes, but it's still back and forth with, and I love Ahsoka and whatnot, but it is about Anakin and Obi-Wan and stuff like that. And Bad Batch is just, it's all about the clones, what comes of them. It's about Camino. It's about it's huge. So it's too good. Too good. But
Yeah.
before we go down this rabbit hole, you want to start the slideshow, Steff, or it's going to get ugly?
I know. It's fine. I was telling Scott in advance that it was going to end up being a lot of Star Wars talk because you know your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
First and recent.
Yeah.
Is this actually your first? Or I know Steff usually asks this. Is this actually your first, or have you archived stuff? Like,
Okay. I don't think I archived any of my first toy photo. I don't think I did.
gotcha.
Like this one was the first toy photo I did. But yeah, that's pretty basic there.
Yeah, but it's such like cool idea. Like what like out of curiosity, what made you think to yourself like I'm gonna give Kylo's saber to a First Order trooper?
I think
Just for fun?
part of the reason I like clones so much is I like the underdogs, and so then for a stormtrooper to like hold a lightsaber, I just thought was really cool. And obviously Kylo Ren's lightsaber is super cool. And I don't think I had an original trilogy stormtrooper at that time, so it made sense for him to hold the Kylo lightsaber, which, if they're under like Kylo, it makes sense. So I was just like, But see, I didn't know how to do the effects on the saber, and I just kind of sort of made it glow like in the center.
Yeah.
Did it the practical way. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, you just let the sun make the glow happen. There's nothing wrong with that.
I added a little bit of that in like a free editing app I had, but yeah.
But you didn't actually go in and like Photoshop an actual like line or anything like that. You just boosted it up. Yeah. That's awesome that you still made it work. You still gave it that like that glow without sitting there and really editing in there deep.
Yeah.
And at that time, the tan background, my mom had like some sand or whatever, and I put it out on like, I don't know, a garbage bag or something, and then that was like the sand. But then I realized when I set up the sand just in the dirt, you could see far off, and it didn't like match. So I had the driveway there too, because I also later on took a different picture with Ray in that same area, but where you can kind of see the sand more. But yeah,
It's great.
Very cool. It's experimentation at its finest, right there.
yeah.
I have a question though. Do you collect just Star Wars collectibles now, or do you kind of like have branched out?
As of yet, my sister does more of like she has the Ninja Turtles. She's trying to get, I don't know what company they're by, but there's like the new Ninja Turtles that are kind of gradually coming out right now. She likes that. And I have a few like McFarlane DC ones, just like a couple Marvel ones. But I just get so like in my zone with Star Wars that I haven't gotten too many else.
I know all about that.
Yeah, I have a Spider-Man and a Wolverine for Marvel.
Oh, absolutely.
I think later on I have some photos that you
I
took.
actually have more.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Joker, which I don't know why I'm forgetting the company right now, but that one I spent a good amount of money on.
Did you get a Mezco? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think you do have the Mezco. I'm thinking back on your feed, and I feel like you do have that one.
Yeah, so he's probably my most expensive one that isn't Star Wars, and maybe even over like my Black Series. The Black Series are cheap, but well, they're getting more expensive now. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I did spend a good amount of money on him. Oh, and then I have a Dark Knight Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's pretty cool too. I take more outdoor photos, and sometimes for the DC ones, they require a diorama more, I would say. And so it's just, yeah, I think the Star Wars ones usually work better outside than those ones.
That's an interesting point, because DC characters tend to be seen in city environments and cityscapes and stuff like that. So taking them out into the woods doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like Batman's not going to be just chilling out in the forest. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense that you tend to focus more on characters that you can bring outside, because you know, I consider you an outdoor photographer. I know you do other things, but like I feel like just from your feed, correct me if I'm wrong, you seem to enjoy being outside more than photographing inside.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I don't have like a lot of, like studio lights or anything like that, and I just kind of try and work with what I have, but generally lighting indoors is a lot more difficult. So I just, I like to take photos outside, and I just think there's a lot of different like locations outside too. It's just, it's fun. Less to purchase, honestly, if you
I always, like, when I was on another show, like, talking about it, I said that indoor photography is a lot more constricting, and they looked at me like I was insane, because they think that they think it's like a playground half the time. But for somebody who takes photos outdoors, it can be kind of like being in a box, like in a dark box, not knowing what to do, because our brains work with the elements that are around us instead of just like trying to create that inside. So Scott and I have been like diving down this rabbit hole of trying to, it's like two different worlds of art for indoor and outdoor, and the people that, go
it really
one or the
is.
other.
Stuff is like 100% right. I feel like it's a different way of thinking in general. Like I think to myself, like when I was shooting inside for like 2 photo shoots ago, for Angus, I was sitting there like trying to work around an area and make the entire thing work. Whereas if I was running into the same frustrations that I was having outside, I would have just walked 100 feet away and gone and done it somewhere else and seen if I could find like a different area, and then walked 100 feet that way and tried something else. Like it wouldn't have been a problem. But when you're inside, like there is no 100 feet away. I've got my diorama set up on top of my washing machine. Like that's it. Like I'm working with that. And so as an outdoor photographer predominantly, I do feel much more liberated when I'm outside, just because I don't feel like I'm in a box, like Steff said.
Yeah, exactly. You can have just this really long area to have a background and everything. And you don't, inside there's a lot more things that don't look to scale.
Yep.
So, yeah. But yeah, I like shooting outside, even though even though I don't have like a lot of money to spend on stuff, and if I could, I probably would shoot more inside. But I actually enjoy doing outside a lot.
Yeah.
Except
Agreed.
there's a lot of mosquitoes this season, and they were biting me like crazy. Actually, for this shot, the most recent one, like
The one over, yeah.
I don't. We live near a lake, and so there's like a lot of mosquitoes there and everything, and they were just totally. I had my foot all like bitten up, and like,
Oh yeah. You're
And I
much
put
more
on
likely to get dirty, bit, and scratched shooting outside than you are inside.
Yeah.
Inside,
It's
you'll probably
funny.
walk away feeling fine, but when you go outside, you're gonna get some stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm not like my family would probably. They would used to say like I'm probably not one to get all like super down and dirty, but it like I don't know, when I'm taking photos, it kind of goes out of my head, and I walk in with like gravel imprints all along my legs
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and you can get dirt in your hair because the camera I was using, I just ordered a new one, but I have to like go all the way down to the ground to like look through, and it's just like and if there's like animal droppings on the ground,
Oh,
and
yeah.
sometimes
Oh yeah.
out of the window for me,
Yep.
and I was like, okay, I'll shower when I get home, and I'll just do this right
Good.
now.
Good.
I
Are you getting a
don't know.
camera with the flip out
Yeah.
screen?
Yes,
I was
yes.
curious. What are you getting out of curiosity?
Well, I originally had, probably since I was 14, I got my first DSLR, and it was a Canon T5.
Okay.
And I've been, that's what I've been using for this long. And then I just got a T7i.
Cool.
Ooh.
So
I just got one too.
Yeah, and so it has the flip out screen, which is actually going to be so helpful.
Yes.
Because sometimes, even if I can put my head down in the dirt, it's hard to still, like see everything that's going on down that low, and with glasses.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I can't see far super clearly. I won't know if it's like super focused or anything if I take them. Whatever. And so it's like, okay.
Yeah, and your glasses are like moving over here, and you're kind of like trying to look, but it's not working.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm most excited about for the new camera as well.
Good.
I want to ask about the accessories on this most recent picture too.
Oh my
the
gosh.
fur coats and stuff. They're awesome.
Yeah, I was wondering about this photo, honestly. After I took it, I'm like, is this too weird? But
No,
people just
don't
love
ever
it.
question
Like,
that.
okay. I was like, good.
Don't ever question that. Like, get as weird as you want, and especially since it's Plo, because I know you love him, and
Oh yeah, I do.
and like it makes it so great, the two of them just chilling, being cool. Like, it makes
Sounds
it
like
so
a
funny.
music video.
It does.
I love people commenting like new album cover or something, and sharing on their stories and whatnot.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I made the glasses by hand. I knew I wanted like some little sunglasses, and it works well on Flo because it just kind of fits there and rests on his face. But yeah, it was just some plastic packaging, and then I painted the back of the glasses black so it'd still be shiny on the outside. And then the fur thing I used on a previous photo. I used it with Rex, but yeah, it was just my sister sews a lot, and so she had bought a lot of fabrics and stuff, and she let me have like a little bit of it, and I just used that. And then I had my necklace and like a mini skateboard from like, I don't know what it's from, but my brothers had that too, so I was just like collecting little things.
Amazing.
What do I have next? Oh.
Ah, yes. And now we have some editing glow here.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
you and your atmosphere, Jewel. Like, you really do a great job with atmosphere.
Thank you.
You create textures and all kinds of depth in your photos, and it's very iconically you. And I bring this up sometimes because when I was in music school, we would always joke about like, what if you were in the music history book someday, what would be like a particular style that like music history students would have to remember as like part of your description? Like your atmosphere would be part of your description. It is a staple to what you create. And again, whether it's water, whether it's smoke, whether it's flour, whether it's just the natural elements, whatever it is that you use, you always are able to really give it that layered feel, like the characters are surrounded by something, a substance. It's very cool.
Yeah. Well, I think I kind of quickly realized that since like I don't have like a lot of like props and stuff, I mainly usually just have the figure, like the raw figure, just there. Yeah. I realized quickly kind of the importance of texture, kind of something I was lacking in that first photo, you know? It really brings a lot of intrigue that without it, I was looking at my most recent photo and I realized that without the texture, it would be a lot less interesting. And so I just realized how much detail, you know. And when you're shooting with a high quality camera, might as well take advantage of the detail it can capture, you know.
Yeah.
Get everything.
And it's fun to do. I bet you have a blast just like creating it and like doing all that stuff. And when you're outside getting to use all these natural things happening, it becomes like you have the figure, you have a couple props, but like it's a piece of the idea in your mind too. Like I always, when I look at something, when I'm going to take a photo, I'm like, am I going to use water today? Is it dirt? What's going to happen? But it kind of like decides your path as you go out and about. So it's kind of cool.
Jewel, do you use compressed air when you go out? Like a compressed air can?
I used to. I kind of switched mainly to atmosphere aerosol, and sometimes when I need to kick up dirt, I'll just use my shoe or something, or even my hand. And it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
This shot was actually taken. I don't know if I did it behind the scenes for this one, but this shot was actually taken on my porch at night, and I don't have lights that can't plug in. Like I have to have like a plug-in, so it had to like I was like stretching it to be like towards the end of the porch, the cord, and I had it like there to like shine on him, and like the other one, my camera right there, and I had my spray bottle, and so I took it at night and did that one, and I had a red light and like a bluish light, I think. Yeah.
That's great. I love the motion of the water too. The swirling is just, it's awesome. It's too good.
Your behind the scenes are great too, by the way. You're really, really good at like capturing what you're doing. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I should do like more like video style, or like I tried out like labeling things like with text this past few couple photos. I don't know. I've kind of been wanting to like step up the professionalism a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just experimenting.
Jewel, your behind the scenes photos are almost as good as mine. I mean, you get some tough competition out there. I need to take a lesson from you big time. That's sarcasm for people watching. Mine's the worst behind the scenes ever. Jewel is like a grade A behind the scenes person, and I'm just like, I'm like, I'm going to take a photo, and then I don't. Like, I took this photo when I was doing yours, actually. I sent it to Steff already. That this was like the best I could come up with, was I just took a photo of all the flour like laying on the ground, and I was gonna like include it. I was like, yeah, this is great. I was like, this is stupid. Like, why am I even trying? Like, that was the photo. That was literally what I thought my behind the scenes photo was going to be. And I was just like, done. I'm so bad at this. I'm just so bad at like doing I just get in the moment and I just start like taking photos. And then by the time I'm done taking the photos, usually I have to like go do something. Like I have to go pick up my kid or something like that. So I'm just like, I break everything down, throw it into a box and run. Yeah. And I'm just like, I never, ever do them. And your behind the scenes photos are great. They are so like, they're informative. They're fun. They still look nice. They fit your aesthetic. They don't take you out of your account. Like sometimes with behind the scenes photos, I feel like there's a tendency to remove you, like people are watching and it like takes you away from it, but it doesn't with yours. Your behind the scenes photos feel like it's supposed to be there. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you used the reel function yet? Like with your videos?
No, I haven't done that yet, and I hear that's better for the algorithm, like boosting in the algorithm now, I guess.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet. Yeah, I've just been wondering. I have been wondering if I'll do that too.
You could do both. That way you have it doubled up, and so because you're already doing the video part, you might as well have some fun with it. Because I think you can add text. And I've only done it once, and it seemed a lot. But I mean, there's probably a lot of cool things with it. So
I don't even know how to get to it. I know there's something that says reel.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I've never pushed the button, so I have no idea how to even make it do a real thing. So
I think I tried making one, but then I was like, it wasn't coming together the way I wanted it to. But yeah, I need to try that again. One thing I'm not great about doing with behind the scenes is like telling my camera settings, because I know some people will do that, because I'm just all over the place. Like I'm switching things up constantly. I'm like, I don't remember what it was for that particular show, but I don't know, because some people have it like planned out or something. I don't know how they do that, but I think that would be kind of good too, if I can.
Do you shoot manually? Like, do you shoot completely on manual mode, or do you usually pick like a priority mode, like aperture priority or shutter priority?
Usually manual.
Okay, I think that there's something to that too. Like when you shoot completely manually and you're outside, sometimes you're kind of you're changing based on the light. You're changing based on what's going on. Like 1 second. You go and you take a photo and you're like, no, depth of field wasn't good enough. I'm going to change this. And like, there's a little more impulse there. So I don't think it's that crazy that you would not necessarily remember every single setting. There are people who, they're like note takers, like they know what they're doing. But like sometimes I'm changing stuff like that, like real fast. Like if the light changes, all of a sudden I'm like, I changed my mind. I'm going to do this instead. Start pushing buttons. So
outside is
wow.
It goes fast, because I'll have my figures all set up in like this like sunlit area, and then the sun will just like move just a tiny bit, and it's just not with these super small figures. It makes a huge difference, and you're like, okay, now I got to move them back a little bit or over to the side more, just like a few inches even.
Yep.
And it's like, oh man, so keeping up with the sun is a crazy thing. And sometimes I'm just trying to get the photo before the sun leaves.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, see, I do a lot of experimentation.
And that's cool. That's really cool. I love when Steff puts in things that are not necessarily your more traditional style. Like you have a very traditional style of what you do, and this is way outside of that realm.
I have like experimented with things in the past. Yeah.
And it's good. It's important to do that. Otherwise you just get kind of stale and like bored. I love this. I think that's so cool. I love the light going across his chest. That's really neat. The beams coming down from the top. Did you just use like, what is this? Like saran wrap or something?
It is glow sticks.
Sticks.
A really slow shutter speed. The figure's just standing there. He's not going to move. And so I waved them like crazy. I think they were left over from like the 4th of July or something.
That's cool.
I'm not sure. But just started waving them around. I think my sister helped me too. And it was kind of a darker environment, I think, but it helps light it up with the glow sticks. So it's
that's fun. Really neat.
Yeah.
It's still very your strong colors come through though still. So even though it's like it's something different, it's still very much I could see elements of what's going on in your feed. I just found it when I was scrolling through, I was like, am I still in the same place? But it was really nice to like kind of do everything. Yeah, it's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Even the placement of the color, like again, I know a lot of it's just impulse as you're doing it, but like everything fell really nicely. Like I love the blue on the one side and then the really deep red on the other side. Like there's like this range, like the way he's looking, and then the blue across him, like he's coming out of this cooler blue space looking into this like fiery, like I don't know, he's looking into trouble. Like it's just, I don't know, there's something cool about it. And again, I point this out before. I've pointed this out on other podcasts that we've done where it may not be the kind of thing that you're thinking about, like very specifically, like again, note taking, like, oh, this is what I want to do at this moment. This is how I want to photograph this moment. This is how I want the light to be here. Like, but you react to it and you make it work and you start trying things, and it's like your artistic brain just naturally starts doing it. And it's cool.
Sometimes try and keep in mind, I don't know if it was for this one. This one was just kind of the crazy thing that I just did, but I do sometimes try and keep in mind like kind of what emotions different colors communicate. You know? Yeah. Blue is a more trusting color, and red is a bit more bold and scary or something.
Absolutely. Very, very smart.
Yeah, it's very spider sense too. I like it.
Yeah. Huh? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Whatever. Done. I'm just flipping the mic and we're done. This was the photo where I think I literally said, that's it. I never am going to take a Sabine photo again. This is the end. We've now officially, as the toy photography community, retired Sabine from use, kind of like the number 23 in basketball or whatever, like Michael Jordan's number. Nobody's allowed to use it anymore. Like that's what this photo is to Sabine. So anybody watching, you can retire your Sabine figure, put it in a drawer. You can play with it in your free time, but you are no longer allowed to photograph it. So there's no need. It's over.
Oh my goodness.
This photo is fire. It's just so cool. She is such a cool character. She is such trouble.
Yeah.
She is like such a fighter, such a just made to make a ruckus. And I just feel everything about her in this photo. It's got your lighting flying through there, backlit like crazy, atmosphere. It's everything you do with your photography. And you did it with such a cool figure and such a cool character. I actually did not tell Steff to pick this photo, but
nice.
I'm super happy that she picked it because this has been one of my favorite photos you've taken in recent months, at least.
Thank you.
It's real cool.
Well, for this one, it was taken in a bush in my backyard. We have the bushes are like right up next to the porch, and we have some cinder blocks blocking the side so my dog can't crawl back there because she'll, get all tangled or something. But I had to like move when I shoot back there. I've done a few shots back there, but I'll move the cinder blocks, and then I get back in that space. And I set her up there, and there was like a little bit from the front of the bush, that thing, the light coming through the top. And of course, I love atmosphere aerosol, and I love how it captures the light. And so I kind of sat her up there, like kind of reminding me like of a bird, because she's all wearing phoenix symbols, and then I sprayed that it was kind of hard because I had to hold my camera up. So, like with one hand, I had to like either spray it real quick and hold the camera with both hands, or, it's hard. Plus it's a dark area back there. So it's hard to have like a high, like, shutter speed, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, luckily I got one. And
yes, you did.
I love that aerosol so much.
Yeah.
So fun. I love capturing light like that.
How long does that stay? Like, how long does the aerosol stay? I've never used it. It's just not something I've never bought it. I've never really experimented with it. Like, if you spray, like you're spraying in this area, how long do you have before all of it kind of like starts to dissipate?
Well, it's kind of nice. It depends on the area you're shooting, because if you kind of like stick in area, like with this more, like if there's less like gaps in the area, sometimes it will like kind of stick around more.
Okay.
But I would say, if, like
It's longer than canned
this
air.
one,
let's
it
put it
felt
that
super
way.
fast. For this one, it felt super fast that it was dissipating for how much I wanted to be coming through.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's not so great because then I breathe it in and it makes my throat dry. Because if I'm out there like in open space and it'll just like come at you and like, okay, let's clear this up.
Yeah, go away.
Yeah, but it's very prominent in photos. It really is. Even if there's just like a little bit, you can usually tell in the photos. But
Yeah.
it will even stick around for quite a while. Some of it, if it's a very small amount. Yeah. So,
Do you just order it online, or do you go
Yeah.
somewhere?
There's an Instagram page on there too.
They have an Instagram page?
I think I order off their website, and I think they have like buy 3 get 1 free or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because they have like a thing. Do you have the thing that they use to shoot it out, like a directional piece that you put
I
on top
don't.
of the can?
I just have the cans.
You just have the cans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of photographers too that have like the 10% off, so you can probably find coupons.
Yeah,
too.
Sandork has that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna use one of them. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's always like my first thing when I'm gonna go order a new can. I'm like, whose coupons will I use this time?
Who has some sort of connection? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff though.
The bottom left corner is just my favorite part of this. I know you guys are like the Star Wars epicness of this, but like just from the natural point of view, a lot of people like to cut off like the spare bits of the actual bush itself from the natural thing. This is so well laid out that you absorb not only the environment that you're in, the products that you're using, but also the figure all scaled in like and in a diagonal fashion, which is you're shooting this not at a Dutch angle, but just straight ahead, and you still get that diagonal feel, which is really cool.
Yep, I agree with Steff 100%. You utilized everything. You used all the natural materials. Like everything here serves a purpose. It feels like it's in scale with the figure. Like nothing's alarmingly out of scale. And yeah, you didn't shy away from it. You kept it. You kept it all. Steff is like a bazillion% right. Like it's really cool that you did that. Because to be honest, you don't typically have photos like, not that it's a bad thing. You don't always have photos this busy. A lot of your photos are a little more minimalist. And this is a little bit, this is a louder photo than most of your images. I think that's cool.
About this one too. I do like how much like texture it is in there. And oftentimes if I'm shooting just one figure, because I'll do that a lot. I'll just shoot like one figure, and I don't like all the time like to put them smack in the middle. I like to have the environment speak for itself, because I like to tell stories more often than not in my photos. Sometimes I'll just be like, oh, this would be a cool pose or something to do, but I also like to think of stories, and often those are the favorite of my shots that I'll take for myself. I like the ones that really tell stories.
I support that.
Oh yeah, that's another
Thrawn. Is that
really
the
like this one.
flower or what?
That was
stuff?
actual snow.
That was actual snow. That's rad.
I think it was actually falling too from the sky, and this was not at night like that previous Kylo Ren one. That was like black foam board in the back, and I it was falling down, and I really liked that one because again, the snow adds intrigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes from just being a plain portrait to being a portrait with some depth to it. It's it makes such a difference again with these little tiny guys. Like it's, I don't know, you have to. It helps so much to have things that kind of give you some sense of like where the character is standing. If you just take a photo of a character that's 6 inches tall and just plain against a plain background, a lot of times it'll just look like a toy. You need those tricks to kind of mess with people's eyes a little bit, mess with their brains. So
yeah, and since this one is older, you know, like he is more smack in the middle, and I used to do that a lot more in the past. Now, if I really want it center focused, like I did that King Rex one, then I will put them smack in the middle. And I did more square photos and stuff back in the day. But yeah, I think Thrawn is like my 5th favorite Star Wars character because like I made a list.
Thrawn's amazing.
Yeah,
Thrawn hangs out on my desk all the time. He just lives here. This is his
nice.
space. Yeah, Thrawn's awesome. Thrawn is a really fascinating character that I was really happy when they recanonized him and brought him back, because that was, I think a lot of people were really disappointed when he sort of disappeared off of the Star Wars radar. Like, oh, well, that's just a legend. He's Legends now. He's Legends. And then it was like, no, we changed our mind. He's coming back. And everybody was like, yeah, awesome. Because it's cool.
For him. I haven't read any of Star Wars books, but his are pretty good. And I really like him in the books especially.
Yes.
But
his books are really, really cool. Because most of the ones that focus on him are still by Timothy Zahn, and he's the one who did Thrawn originally, and he tried to keep that character going. And I will tell you too, impressively, if you don't have necessarily time to read it, the audiobooks, because I've read them and listened to them, people that they get to narrate it, they're good. Like the Thrawn is good, like really good. Like the narration is awesome. Like I've listened to it at work before, and it's cool.
I got the audiobook for like one of the Clone Wars stories.
Yeah.
I forget the precise name, but when Sam Witwer voices Maul in that one, I'm like, that's so cool. Like his actual story, I was like, that's so cool. Yep. And I'm Palpatine and Vader are like the iconic villains of Star Wars, but I'm more of a Maul and like Thrawn girl instead of the like real classic villains. I mean, them too, and especially I like Vader as well. But I just lean more. I like kind of Thrawn's intellect and Maul's kind of emotional journey.
Yes, that's exactly what I've said about Maul. Like people talk about how, oh, he was so like, such a disappointment in the Phantom Menace. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He was used by somebody. He was used by the most powerful Sith Lord around, and then he had to find his own way. And even if they hadn't brought him back into the universe and like made him like this bigger character and like given him so much more, even if they hadn't, even if his story had ended with the Phantom Menace, there was something very interesting about that, because his heart was in the Sith for the wrong reasons. He wasn't meant to be a Sith. He just was angry, and he didn't know how to direct his anger, and he just fell into the first opportunity that was there, and that's what happened to him. And that's why he just didn't belong there. He belonged further. Like he had more to do, and that's why I love what they did with him in like Clone Wars and like bringing him into those stories. Like it was awesome, because he is so like, it gave him a chance to direct his anger. Like I think he just was like an angry teenager who never really got a chance to grow up, and then he got like the opportunity to really start like, I'm a real villain now. It's crazy. He's Maul's awesome. So
that's why I got my Hot Toys figure up in. Actually, I have them right here.
Yes. You do
ideally,
wonders with him.
yeah, he's great, and I'm really hoping to get the Rex one that's going to be coming out in a few months here.
Good.
Like, I hope so. Either buy it for myself or like a Christmas thing. But if I just have them, I honestly don't need to get any more Hot Toys. They're pretty darn expensive. And if I just have those two, I'm just like, you know what? I'm set for life.
Yes, you get the ones that are important to you. You get the characters that are important to you. You don't have to collect them like you can collect like Black Series. Like you get the ones that are special, the characters that are your favorites, and you know, those are the ones you want to photograph. Those are the ones you want to hang out with and do your cool art. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to do that.
Yeah.
And there he is.
I actually really like this photo a lot, and it remains my profile picture.
Yeah.
And I've asked people, should I change it? And people are like, no.
There's so much thought here. You see Rex, and again, like anybody can look at this and see a really cool photo here. But in addition to that, as a Star Wars fan and whatnot, like Rex is such an interesting, thoughtful character. A character who starts out as a clone and grows into something more. Like, and I don't mean clone in like a negative way, but like a typical like Republic clone, but he starts to see, you know, as people point out, that he is more than just a copy of some bounty hunter. Like there is a lot to him, and he starts to recognize that. And I think you just captured that in this photo. He's just like looking down, thinking. I don't know. It's so cool. That head tilt alone. Like I don't know what you were trying to necessarily portray here, but like everything about his stance and posture and the way his head looking down, he's thinking about something. Mm-hmm. Don't care what it is, but he's thinking about his purpose, what he's doing, like who he is, like why am I here? What am I, you know, there's more to it than just, I'm just walking around, it's a bunch of rocks. Like, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, and for that one, I had a match off to the side because I wanted like some of that texture again, like in the air, and I blew it out, and it made kind of that wispiness.
That's cool.
And then I had flour that I was sprinkling down as like some snow, and then, you know, another clone in the back, because I only have one clone that's just like a plain phase 2 clone. And
really?
So, yeah, I only have one of those. They're kind of hard. They're hard to come by.
They are hard to come by.
I think they're going to be coming out with the 501st clone. Yeah. And I want to get at least a couple of those.
Yeah. I pre-ordered a few of them just to have, because like I kind of wanted. I don't know. It felt like I needed them, and but it is really like you're right. It's hard to come by them. It's weird to me that they aren't easier to get. I don't understand. And
yeah, because that's something people buy like crazy.
I know. Just put them out there. Like we'll buy them. Trust me. Like I would literally be buying one every time I was in a Target. If I saw them on the shelves, like you would make money off of me. I promise you. Like Hasbro, you will make money off of me. You already make plenty of money off of me. If you throw some clones out there, I'm gonna grab them. So
yeah. The clones are just so useful. They're so versatile. You can tell so many different stories with them because they do have that individuality. Mm-hmm. And that's my favorite because of how much individuality they brought to him in Clone Wars.
Agreed.
Just been sprinkled out through lots of media, so he's had a lot of different aspects to be shown about him.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I just love clones in general because I think their story is very sad. And I think when somebody just takes Star Wars face on, like if they just watch episode 2, they may just think, okay, there's the army, you know, like, they made the army, okay, you know, and there's not much depth brought to them in episode 2. But I really like how the Clone Wars delved into the individuality and really kind of explored what the morality of having an army of people that you created just for war. And
Yeah.
so I really love clones because of that. And it's hard for me to like rank favorite Star Wars characters when it comes to clones because I'm not sure like where clones lie with like other Star Wars characters. I know Rex is my favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah.
But then it's just like there's so many clones. I'm just like I don't
know. And they're
Yeah.
all interesting. I mean, Echo in Clone Wars. I mean, he's great in Bad Batch too, but in Clone Wars is super important. Like, just such a cool character. And Fives. I mean,
Yeah, I really like Fives. That's my sister's favorite Star Wars character, I think.
oh, Fives. God, that story, man. That was. Ugh.
It destroyed me in Bad Batch when they like destroyed Camino.
Oh my gosh. I tried to
like,
get a photo of like my goosebumps. Like I actually had like there was like my arm, the hair was like standing up on it. And I was just watching, going like, like it was crazy. That was a crazy thing.
It's sad because that's where the clones kind of viewed. That was their home, and also where they were created. You know that it kind of solidifies kind of the end of the clones. Like no
And that
more
they've been devalued now. They don't.
Yeah,
they
no
serve
more
no
Jango
value.
Fett clones are going to be made after this.
Yeah.
Like so,
Yeah.
it's sad because those are lives. You know, even if they were made for war, it's kind of sad.
Absolutely. But yeah, this photo, again, back to it, phenomenal. This is it shows your connection with Rex. I talk about this with when you have a connection with a character, you tend to photograph them even better than characters that you don't necessarily connect with.
That is very true, actually.
I would be curious. I don't know if you've ever looked at like your insights, but I'd be curious what your Rex photos, your likes and comments versus like, your photos of some other random character. Like I've said to Steff, my Ahsoka photos are the most heavily liked photos on my entire page.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters in the entire Star Wars universe. And I'm not purposely trying to do anything different when I photograph, but I think it shows you're trying to capture one of your favorite characters in a way that, really feels good. And I think I'd be curious to see like what your Rex photos rank compared to like some other like, random Star Wars characters.
Yeah. I think right now my most liked one is actually a group photo of the Ghost crew. And yeah, I don't know. It kind of came out of nowhere.
That's interesting.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that hard of a photo to take, but
Isn't that funny when that happens?
I know. And you're like, what about this one I spent so much time on over
spent
here?
so much time trying to make this photo perfect. I know.
I think it's so funny what people really like sometimes. But yeah, but with like your favorite characters, I think it does help when you have that connection to them, because I just get so like deep in my head about story and everything that and since I love Rex as a character so much, it really helps me then kind of portray it on the outside in a photo.
Absolutely. Very different from your typical style.
Yeah, that's
but it's still there. You even threw some backlight in, like, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I was trying to get the shine off that little batarang from this way.
Yeah, you got that perfect little edge along there. It's fantastic. Yeah. Like that would have been very easy to not have that, and then people would have no idea what was even in his hand, and then it's just, that's awesome.
That figure is really cool. It's very detailed, has a lot of articulation, so I kind of wanted to get up close. Also because inside, I tend to do a lot of like up close shots because there's not as much like area.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the times when I'll take my close-ups is inside. But yeah, that figure has a lot of detail, so that also was really nice to shoot up close. We really took advantage of it.
So cool.
Yeah.
And The Dark Knight is probably it's one of my favorite movies. I like it
in general.
ever. Yeah, it is. I might like it. I know I like it more than some of the Star Wars movies. Not sure if it would top like my favorite Star Wars movies, Empire Strikes Back, but it might even.
Yeah.
But
It's an
if
amazing
you
film.
compared it to Clone Wars, I'd be like, no.
No, it's an amazing film. Dark Knight is
Christopher Nolan. I love his movies.
unbelievable.
Both of them, so. Yeah.
Is it more the aesthetic and the direction, like the way that it's filmed and like the eye appealing part of it? I mean, the story is amazing too, but I'm wondering if you're more attracted because there's a lot of rain and action and things going on.
It is visually unbelievable.
I want to be an author, so I really do think about story a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually really love watching films because I like to see. My head analyzes kind of pretty much the whole array of things. I used to think I wanted to be a director, and so I studied a little bit of some film stuff in an online course. And I just kind of notice sometimes how the camera is used, and also just like beautiful, filmography, whatever.
Yeah,
it's called.
cinematography and stuff.
Cinematography.
Yeah.
That's weird. I noticed that stuff, but I also really noticed story and how characters are done. And plot. I just kind of notice everything. Sometimes it's hard for me to just shut off my brain when I'm watching movies.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets annoying, but I've learned to just kind of enjoy.
Yeah. Like you're looking at your head going like, just shut up. You're ruining the movie for me. I'm trying to follow this. Like,
and there's some movies I'll enjoy more than like my family because I just like love like the plot twist or something. And I used to not like movies that didn't have happy endings, but now I'm just like, I don't care if it's tragic. Let's see what it's trying
sometimes
to
it happens
here and like the message and everything. So
if there's a reason for the tragic ending, so be it. If it's just tragedy for the sake of tragedy, sometimes I'm just come on, people, you drive me crazy. But like tragic endings, sometimes it's just how it works. So I get you on that.
I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about them killing off Ben Solo. Like if that was really needed.
Hard to watch.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm trying to just accept the movie as it is, but I'm just like, well, would I have done it differently? If I was in their place, or does that tragedy warrant something to the story?
Joel, I think you and I are going to have a podcast where we just like take all of the Star Wars from beginning to end and we literally just talk over them. Like we just like just an insane amount of hours. We go through all the Clone Wars, all of Rebels, all the movies, and we're just like, yep. And we just analyze everything. People would think we were absolutely out of our minds, but it would. I think this may have to happen. I think people would actually enjoy it just because.
Ultimate nerds would watch it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yep. That is some great backlight. Great backlight.
Surprisingly simple. It was pretty simple. I went out. I was at my grandparents' house. I went out with my Lando figure, held it up to the sun, and pretty much that. And I was trying to get the sun in a specific area with the figure. I don't want to like blocking out his face or like cutting off the back of his head.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked good coming over his shoulder, and then
it was very good.
Yeah, thank you.
And I love the fact that there's that small white spot under his chin where the cape and like his head separate. Like we point out little details on here sometimes, but it's like if that wasn't there, the shape of his face would have disappeared into his cape. So by having that small little white spot, it distinguishes between his clothing and his head, and it makes it very clear what is happening here, like his stance and his pose and stuff. If that had been a little bit off, like I feel like it could have not ruined the photo, but it would have just been like less effective. And these are the details that I love when artists and creative people place in their images consciously or subconsciously, but they're, our brains are aware enough of why this looks good or bad. And I think that little dot is so important in this photo. It's such a silly little thing, but
all little aspects like that. And I really like this Lando figure's cape, like the gold, and you can kind of see the details from the inside of the cape. I think that's really neat. Like, even I love it when figures will have like the texture and stuff too, because that does some of the work for you, honestly. So, yeah.
And it looks so good with like your warm style. Like you have such warm photos, so like it just Lando just fits it perfectly.
I think he fits in more with like the underdog element too. Like your focus on characters that are just kind of thrown to the side almost sometimes. Like I'm sure they had a whole Clone Wars series, but no one really focuses on that. They're so busy worrying about Vader and Luke and everybody else. And I think having Lando's moment to literally shine is but kind of nice. So it kind of like
you literally let him shine.
Yeah,
literally shining.
Thank you.
I think this is the last one.
Oh,
Here we go.
That's one of
Rex
my
and Ahsoka.
favorites too.
Misty. This is a great shot.
Well, season 7 Clone Wars had me balling. I was crying a lot. But
Oh God, yeah.
I really like their special bonds there.
Me too.
And I wanted to think this was something. They're just kind of, this is kind of after everything, after the Clone Wars, and they're just kind of going off. They gotta go their separate ways now, and it's a new chapter. And I just wanted to highlight the special bonds that they have. And
this is probably speaking of Bond, I just want to point this out because you said Bond. I love that lens flare in the front almost creates like a circle with the two of them, like this never ending, like they are forever, these two. And it's not in like a romantic way or anything. It's just they are unbreakable. And I think that is like, again, intentional or unintentional. When I saw that, I was like, what? Like that circle makes me want to cry. I love that. It's that really does. It really does show their bond and how important they are to each other. And yeah, just the way they're like, she's like, it's funny because I also like the way that she's looking up to him and he's looking down to her, but sometimes psychologically, I feel like the two of them, it would go back and forth. Like, I think sometimes Rex would very much look up to her. And so like, even though size wise and height wise, they're doing, did you say rank wise?
No, like, I think she might be older than him in years.
I think she might be. She has to be at least legitimately, because he's only, he was aged.
Yeah, that's in years, yeah.
But I would almost wonder too, like, I don't know how Ahsoka's species ages. Like, maybe she might even be even older than that. Like, I don't know. But I'd love that. I love that bond with the two of them, like this, the way that they look at each other. So, and then the photo itself is just.
And that's Rey's cape, and that's on Ahsoka. With my Rey figure, and I think I had to for her head tails, I think they're Leku or something, whatever they're called. They wouldn't like fit through because the head hole was so small for just Rey's tiny little head. It just has the buns.
Yeah.
So I had to, I think, like snip a few of the things that were holding it together down there to get her head to fit through.
Yeah.
It's like okay, it's a piece of cloth and I can sew it back up. I'll use it more on Ahsoka anyway. I've
Yeah.
already used it more on her than I have on Rey in pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, she I really liked how she looks in that. And Rex, I had them do that walking pose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to set up a lot of my favorite photos are set up when the sun is getting low in the sky. I'll look up on my phone when the sun's supposed to set, and I have this location I like to go to where I'm kind of like high up a little bit on a hill and not quite at sunset, but the sun is like low enough in the sky that it will be in an area where it will be captured in the photo.
That was exactly how I did your photos. I waited until the sun was at an angle where it would be behind the characters, and that was when I went out. I just waited because I was like, there's no way I am not backlighting Jules' photos. Like, it's just, that would be, I have to do it. So yeah. I'm happy you said that, because that's a staple in your style, is that backlight.
I just think it brings like this little like
Mm-hmm.
the photo, and I really like that. And then the atmosphere aerosol obviously captures it and spreads the sunlight, which I really like. And so I'll just go like an hour or two before sunset, I would say. And yeah, I'll try. I have to move around with the sun like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I think I had to move these figures a couple times because.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one I actually have printed and on my wall. My mom's husband printed it for me because he has like some sort of a print shop too, and I have that one on my wall.
Very cool.
Getting your photographs printed, so important. So, and having it done real printed, not going to Walgreens or CVS, like going to a lab and having them print your photos is huge. It makes such a difference. You know, you spend all this time taking these photos and looking at them on these tiny little screens, these tiny little squares. Like, we got to be printing them big. Real big.
It's really cool. You almost like notice detail you didn't see before on your computer screen.
Mm-hmm.
I just even when I get it up on the computer screen after I've had it on the camera screen, but then it goes back down to like my phone screen because I'll be like, man,
Yeah.
some of that.
You see things that Instagram like it will filter it down quite a bit too, so it's nice that you have it for you
so
too
much
to look at and admire what you did for that long period of time of moving figures around in a circle, probably. So it's perfect. So we have the challenge photos now. So
that is something. That is something.
Thank you.
Again, showing Rex's humanity, man. That is. I think you do it so well, and you're great at these. You really just do such a great job with these war scenes that make you like feel. And again, I know they're just toys, they're just action figures and stuff, but you just really capture some serious feelings. Like I don't know, like this, I can like hear the music here. Like I can just like imagine it.
Thank you. Yeah, for this one, you know, with these figures, you're sometimes really trying to push their posability to the limits. I wasn't like super hard on them or anything, but you know, really trying to like, can it go any much this further to kind of make it look more human, you know, more flexible type thing. So I had the normal, just phase 2 clone, his head is leaned in a little bit towards Rex, and Rex kind of got a little misconstrued with all the texture, but Rex is holding his hand actually. So
no, you can see it.
Yeah. And so I was really trying to, you know, get that posing real kind of close and just make it feel more organic.
I love it. I love all the dark space. He's got like that light buzz, so it works really well. It's like the opposite of what you normally would try to do, where you try to keep the head in like a light space so that the head stands out. But by having lighter hair, having him stand out against that dark space behind him is really cool. It looks really good. It's a great shot.
And I have this. Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, you can go.
I was going to say, for the amount of effort you put in the posing, your posing is what I admire the most. Because coming from someone who works with some figures that might be a little more articulated, you take it for granted when you have these Black Series figures, these figures that maybe need to be whittled on a little bit more. And so hearing you just say that makes me very happy, because I realize that going through your feed, I'm like, wow, she takes her time to make sure these figures are ready to go before she takes them.
Yeah.
I like to make it natural. Sometimes I'll just have my figures, and I actually have Rex right here, and I just sit around and like mess with him and like see, and I really just try and make things look pretty organic. And sometimes I'll just pack my figure in the pose in the bag.
I've done that.
Absolutely. It's oral. Like I've even taken a picture with just my phone to remember the pose, because even like just a specific like leg or foot placing sometimes is like it really makes a difference. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I get that 100%. I've definitely done the whole packing them away, the pose that I wanted them to be in. Because I sit there playing with them until they're like the way I want them. Totally have done that 100 times.
Yeah. It's just easier to remember that way. So I will go out with like some shots planned like that, and then some shots are a bit more spontaneous. A lot more of the like simpler shots are a bit more just in the moment posing. But for the blood on this one, I have this Chameleon Powder. And it's actually really amazing because it just rinses right off. I put it right under the sink, and I'm surprised. I think I'm going to have to do like some scrubbing or something. And almost every time I'm thinking, I'll have to.
Chameleon Powder?
Yeah, I think you can look it up on Amazon. And it's supposed to also rinse off clothes. I haven't tried it. But I mix it with water, and then I'll put it down, and I'll try to usually get it if it's still a little bit more moist. It helps it a little more. And then
interesting.
I'll apply it with a paintbrush or something.
Note
and then
it
rinses right off under the sink. And I tested it on a figure I had that I just didn't really care about. Or it was like an extra figure I had. And it didn't stain it. And that figure was sitting with that on it for a while, because after that I went and took other photos. But I came back in after I was done with my shoot, and I rinsed it off, came right off, and it was so great. I'm like, yes, because it adds detail to the picture that doesn't have to be there if I'm going to go to a different type of photo. So it comes in really handy.
Huh.
Yeah, I like it.
Very cool. It's always neat to hear like different substances and things that people use to like move things around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
especially
amazing.
if it washes off and doesn't stain. That's amazing. Especially on white stormtroopers.
Yeah, I would have assumed that you had these painted.
Leave a little bit of redness on my fingers, but not.
But it comes off of plastic.
Yeah,
interesting.
Because I guess your finger will like soak it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that
different.
It comes off. Yeah.
I'm always okay with getting me more dirty, not the figures themselves. So that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, okay, so. Oh.
I was working on posing because I don't have the sunshine right now because of all the fires. We're like super foggy. You can't see anything over here. So
this is some wild. This is
beautiful.
This is some jewel posing right here. This is
great.
Yeah, I don't take my Star Wars guys out enough. I take Wicket out. I love my Ewoks, and I love my little monster stuff. But I realized I was like, I've had K2So, the figure arts, forever, and I haven't used him yet. So I was like, I'm gonna use them for Joel's photo and just.
It's amazing.
That looks so pretty. I love the water droplets that you captured too.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly something I gotta work on more, and I'm hoping with my new camera I'll even be able to mess with that stuff a little bit more, just like capturing stuff real solidly or whatever in midair too, or like kind of flourish. I like as well.
That posing, man. I am like,
Really cool.
I'm truly in awe. Like, you had already sent it to me, and now seeing it on my screen, I'm actually about to blow it up because I'm like, that is serious.
Mm-hmm.
Steff, I don't understand. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little confused, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep on going. Figure this out at some point. Please tell me you have a photo of this on your phone somewhere, because like I don't know how you pose K2SL like this, because it seems very complicated.
It's because it's the SH Figure Arts too. It's not the Black Series one.
The
They have
Black
like a lot
Series, yeah.
more rotation to them, and so it's a little bit different. They also have like extra hands and stuff like that. Like he comes with a lot of bits, which I was surprised with. For it, but I love, like, he's my favorite droid character of all the Star Wars stuff, and that says something.
Yeah, he's up there. He was a great droid.
K2 is amazing. Absolutely.
Honestly, if you could keep one character from Rogue One, and that sounds so harsh, but it's like,
No,
he's just so awesome. Why would you not want him there?
I know. He's so funny. So
I'm excited
funny.
for the Cassian series, but I don't know if he'll be in the first season, actually.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
I'm just hoping.
I know. What's his name? Alan Tudyk.
Tudyk.
Like he's been doing like interviews and stuff for it. So I'm thinking he'll be in it.
I'm hoping so.
Because like I don't feel like if they were gonna wait on putting him in there, I don't feel like he'd be doing some of the press stuff now. But I feel like he's in
a lot of Disney movies, so that's the thing. Is like he voices the chicken in Moana, like a bunch of random things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And he's in Frozen. He's the squirmy little like king guy or the duke or whatever with the weird comb over. Yeah,
he's in Raya too, but he's like the little bug thing that she rides around.
Yeah,
with her little friend. Like
he does the weirdest things.
Random things.
Like it's so
they just
strange.
need like this random character off to the side. They're like, okay, Alan Tudyk, come on in.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
But we're ready for Scott's.
Alrighty.
Had so much fun.
That's beautiful. I love that. Where did you go for? Wait, is that what you sprinkled? Did you sprinkle flour?
Yep, that was flour.
Oh wow.
No, I was right. That's by a playground right by where I bring Elliot a lot, and
that's why I love toy photography. Like outside, especially, it's like you think, oh,
where in the world did you go?
Like, yeah, where did you go? Yeah,
I know.
Out the playground. That's so cool.
No, it was fun. I was really, really excited to do your photo series. I knew, like I said, I had to backlight. Had to do some strong ladies, 100%. That was something Steff sent me a message. She's like, I hope you use some ladies because like I was like, basically either I was going to photograph Rex or powerful ladies. And I've always thought we didn't see a whole lot of this, the two of them. And I feel like, I don't know, there's something interesting there. And, I just, at this point, I did 2 shots where she's kind of like rescuing her and getting her out of there. So I kind of went with more of like a limping kind of like she's kind of helping her get out of there. But seeing their friendship and whatnot. So it was fun doing some Mandalorians and whatnot.
Yeah, that's so cool. I have just Din Djarin and Sabine as Mandalorians.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. That's really cool.
It was a fun one. I had a blast with this. I have not really. It's funny because when I did portrait photography, I used backlight a lot. I backlit all the time, especially with like band photos and stuff like that. Photos or people's like kind of like fashion-y type things and whatnot. I used to use it constantly. And then when I got into the toy photography, I really didn't touch it that much. And doing this made me think about it again. Because it's been a long time since I've really thought about that much like halo and that much like, pop and ethereal fluff. I just hadn't really gone in that direction. And I was like, ooh, I missed this. I like this. It was fun. It was fun to do it again. And I see why you do it. Because it was like, all of a sudden, all these like, I was remembering all of this. It was like, oh gosh, yeah, now I know why I used to do this. And like you said, talking about like, I used to try to get people's heads in a particular position, and shooting with people with backlight is a lot easier because your movements are very small to get the same effect. And, you know, having somebody just like turn their head a little bit, getting the light coming behind their head, it's cool. And yeah, I feel like I'm going to do a lot more of this now because of this photo shoot. So it was fun.
I really like to shoot action figures because of the story. But like I used to do a little bit of like just nature photography around, you know, and it just didn't give me the same type of feeling because I feel like and honestly, some people, they can tell story through that and everything. But for me, I really just like to use people and characters. So like you can't really tell a story all the time with people as easily as with action figures. I feel like you can't be like, okay, no, exactly this way.
No.
Just sit there for 5 minutes. Okay,
not doable.
And and you know, usually if you're doing people photography, it would be more just candid, and and that has a real beauty to it too. But I just like telling my own stories with people. So action figures are just a great medium to do that. You know, the posability really help sell it, and since they're people, you can tell stories. And then Star Wars is like that box to tell stories in, because it's actually easier sometimes to be creative when you have slight limitations and like have things to work around, have a story, have a base story or a base to build on, and then you can just get so much more creative with it too. So
yeah, and that's like you said with Star Wars, it's like there's rules, but there's space within those rules, as opposed to like a story that's a little more like for example, spoilers if anybody has not seen Rogue One. So turn us off, go away. The end of Rogue One, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Because of that, I didn't really have a reason to buy that wave that came out. I thought about pre-ordering the entire new wave for Rogue One, but I was like, their story's already been told. Like there's not much more to tell. And so I didn't buy a single one. I didn't buy any of the Rogue One characters. And I was like, it felt a little weird, but at the same time, there was that bit of like I don't really know what I'm going to take photos of. Like I don't have some crazy, like I'm not going to pretend that they didn't all go. Like I don't know, like what am I going to do? So
too, yeah. I have a Jin and a Cassian in the house, and I haven't fought them much, but it would have to be more like of a prequel type thing, because I think of like, what if this could fit into canon?
Me too.
Or sometimes I do like to like put a funnier spin on things, like with that Plo Koon and Wolf shot, but like or that King Rex shot, and just like play around with the story. But sometimes if I'm doing something more serious, I like to think, how could this fit into canon? So honestly, if I were to use the my Rogue One figures, I'd probably do something just like more of like a generic action shot that could pretty much kind of fall anywhere, or something maybe kind of funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would
totally got that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What a photo to end on. What a photo to end on.
That's one of my favorites too.
Seriously, Jewel. Thank you so much. You have been awesome coming on here and hanging out with Steff and I. I love your account. People love your account. Obviously, here's your Instagram account. Where are some other places that people could find you? Do you do anything else? Do you have like a Miss Geeky Gem Facebook? Do you have a Miss Geeky Gem Twitter? Or have you not gone in that direction at all?
honestly don't really want to get on Twitter because
Yeah.
it's so crazy. But
How about writing wise? Are you writing anywhere that where you're sharing your work?
Right now, I'm just kind of to myself, kind of privately writing a book. I do have a blog. I haven't written on there in a while, but I actually plan on getting it back up again, especially with my author stuff. So
Good.
that's called treasuredscript.com.
Ooh.
And yeah, and so that's where I would end up posting my writing stuff. But I would do even some small movie reviews and stuff like that, and story analysis type stuff. And then but I think it was either last year or something that I wrote on it. But yeah, so I do plan to start that one up again, hopefully soon. But I'm writing a book right now. I have about 50,000 words in it right now. So yeah, I'm gonna.
Well, let us know when it's done, and we'll start yelling at people to buy it. So 'cause that's what we do.
Thanks. I'm sure that will really encourage them to buy it.
Absolutely. I get really mean, just force people.
Scott, super mean. There you go. All right.
Seriously, Joel, thank you. We appreciate you for being on.
It's
So
such a blessing to be on here. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun.
good.
Well, y'all, thank you for listening to another wonderful episode of the combined SBN F-Stop Rebel podcast. Truly a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed everything. Remember, please do not grow up. It's a waste of time. I am Scott, F-Stop Rebel, and there's obviously Steff.
Yep, I'm still here, and you can find me at Slag My Thrilla or the SBN. You'll see all the credits on the end, but I always want to say, just guys, stay awesome and keep it up.